to Football 301. I am your host, Nate Tice. Week 8 preview here today. A lot of slop in Week 8. It's still going to be fun to go through it. We're going to do some deep dives. We're going to get lost in the sauce with a couple games. But then we have an extended slop watch, which will still be fun to get into. Then Hail Marys at the tail end of the show to help me do that on every weekly preview show. My guy, Charles McDonald. How you doing today, Chuck? You got your things set? You got working water over there in New York City? How's it going? Good to see you.
Anything. I feel like in the past 30 minutes, my life has just really fallen apart. You know, physically at my desk, there's no running water. But I can still say I feel like I'm having a better day than our NBA crew. Because, wow. What a bombshell to get with the Chauncey Billups news. So, yeah, at least I am not all hands on deck covering something like that. I would rather have a plumber going ghost on me and things breaking out my desk than having to deal with that for sure.
You're the union liaison, apparently, for the plumbers union there at your apartment building. I know a night where Wemby looked like he broke the sport. Anthony Edwards, I'm a Timberwolves fan. Anthony Edwards looked incredible. And the biggest news is some Chauncey Billups poker games, which should be a very interesting day for the weekend and for the upcoming weeks.
And Terry Rozier got arrested too. So, what a day for the NBA.
What a day for the NBA. But the NFL keeps on churning. We just keep on churning. We're week 8. This would normally be the halfway point, or at least in the old days. Not really, but kind of. We're going to get to 18 weeks at least now. But now, it's going to be, I don't know. This was when going through this game with you guys or going through the slate of games, it was really fun to kind of just go, what is interesting in this week? A couple did stand out, which we'll get into, but also a couple more that I think was just like fun threads to pull at, which I'm curious once you got working water and working internet and working everything else, what you decided was exciting as well. So let's just jump right into it. It's time to get lost in the sauce. This is where we deep dive this week on 2 of our favorite games, because like I said, there's an extended sloppy slate, but we're going to start with the Packers at Steelers at formerly Heinz Field. It's only Heinz Field in my mind. The Steelers are 3-point underdogs on Sunday night football. We got Aaron Rodgers playing the Packers. We got Micah Parsons tearing it up. We got Jordan Love. We got DK Metcalf. We got TJ Watt. A lot of big names in this game, even with the Packers as road favorites. Man, Charles, we're going to start with when the Packers have the ball against the Steelers defense. What is grabbing your attention on that side of the ball? Because interesting game. I'm actually, as I looked at it more, I'm really leaning one way, spoilers, but I'm curious what you're focusing on with this matchup.
Okay, we might be on the same path here because the more I thought about it, I think this is maybe a more compelling game than I thought just at first glance. But I do expect the Packers offense to have some success. I mean, honestly, I kind of expect both offense to have, some form of success. But I think where the Packers offense kind of matches up against the Steelers defense could be where the game is won. Just because the Steelers defense, man, it hasn't been the same Steelers defense of old, where they're pretty inconsistent. I mean, on a down basis, they're like 30th in success rate. Their EPA numbers are below average, but they're still doing like the Mike Tomlin deal of like living within the margins, right? So they're really good red zone defense. They've got a high turnover rate. They're fairly good on they're okay on like third and long situations, third and mean situations. So if the Packers can just kind of handle business and stay ahead of the sticks on first and second down, which I think they'll be able to do with the run game. I think that could be a really big spot of advantage for the Packers in this game, and even on the back end, man, the secondary. If you can just stay away from Joey Porter Jr., I think the Steelers are pretty gettable on the back end. Yeah. So there's a lot of avenues for the Packers to attack the Steelers defense, but I think if they can just stay, committed to the ground game and play off of that, they should have a good amount of success and stay out of those high leverage situational places the Steelers always seem to win on.
Yeah, the Joey Porter Jr. point was kind of like what I pulled at when I looked at this, because when I watched the Steelers defense, seems like they get burned for some big plays, and a lot of those big plays seem to happen to Jalen Ramsey or Darius Slay when he's out there, and maybe it's the Torrey Horton Jr. touchdown that's living in my mind. But there's been several times where teams have gone against this defense, and you can see, Ramsey still has moments. He's not like totally awful or anything. It's just that it's just a different. Life came at him fast. I think old age came at him a little bit fast. Where I think team speed gives the Steelers defense some issues. Their linebackers are fast, but they also kind of go in the wrong direction some of the times, and they're maybe a step slow. And I think the DBs, it's like Joey Porter Jr. is a good corner, like a very good corner, I would even say. While the other guys, it's just like, all right, I'll just target those guys. And so I was looking at the stats. I looked at this through next gen stats. Joey Porter Jr. has allowed 111 yards this year as the nearest defender, 4 PBUs, 6.5 yards per target. He's allowed an 83.2 passer rating. So pretty good stats there. There's noise with the coverage stats, but pretty good there. But it's fun when you look at when you just look at team splits and just the teammate splits, I should say. Jalen Ramsey has allowed 243 yards. Darius Slay has allowed 206 yards. All right, Jalen Ramsey has allowed 4 touchdowns this year as the nearest defender. He has 5 PBUs. So he has almost allowed as many touchdowns as he has PBUs this year. 7.8 yards per target. He's allowed 117 passer rating. I know that's an old school stat, but kind of gives you a nice little encapsulation here. Darius Slay has allowed a touchdown. He only has 1 PBU. He's allowed 8.2 yards per target, 109 passer rating. 72% completion percentage allowed by Darius Slay as the closest defender, which is just, anything above really 65 is pretty high. Why? And so I was kind of looking the Packers pass game, because the run game's the run game. Their run game's not extremely sexy. It's just it's a lot of jabs, and that's by design. They can probably get after them with some zone runs, so I would look for that. The Steelers defense is pretty weak against zone runs, and the Packers are willing to do that. But I'm curious if this is a Matthew Golden week where he really gets going. He's very, very fast. They've started to use him in kind of more real receiver ways, and as opposed to just deep ball. And so I'm curious if there's some catch and run opportunities for him. Basically, whoever Joey Porter Jr. isn't guarding, that's who they maybe attack through the air. I see maybe I actually really like Romeo Doubs right now. I think he's been a very effective player he's just good now, like as opposed to, maybe he could be something. He's like a good receiver. So he's kind of been to me, the standout of that group, even if he maybe hasn't had that crazy performance yet. He could, like, again, I don't know who they're going to decide Joey Porter Jr. should go against, how they're going to just kind of play this offense. But I see a lot of, I could see Golden get going on something where he uses that speed. I expect a lot of motion from the Packers offense, which they do anyways. A lot of jet sweep action, a lot of backfield action, just trying to capture those linebackers' eyes. So they kind of can do what they do against this Steelers defense. But Steelers are actually pretty good against play action, which actually surprised me, because my theory on it was they would be bad because of the linebackers, but they're actually pretty good against it. So maybe the simple fakes can't get it, but I'm curious how the Packers attack that. Any other kind of pass catching or even pass catchers that could stand out for the Packers? I think their offensive line's kind of getting going too, but any kind of personnel notes with them right now?
I think the third down in this game is probably going to be pretty key, because if there is like one situational like advantage that the Packers have in this game. And, third down stats can be noisy because any game you can just kind of go, we have like 2 for 9, and that can plummet your average. But on third and fourth down dropbacks, they're converting 51.2% of those attempts, by far first.
They're first overall in converting. So
yeah. Really good. And they've got a 22.8 explosive pass rate on those plays. The Steelers, on the other hand, are giving up about 46% of third and fourth down dropbacks. So that's the one area where they've been, a little sloppy this year. But even within that, they are fourth in interception rate on third and fourth down, and the Packers are 22nd interception rate on third and fourth down. So maybe, TJ Watt gets home and you have like your little Steelers voodoo magic. But when you just, I think when you just like look at the whole of this, it's not a really compelling case for the Steelers defense to have a great day. Yeah. But just in the little tiniest of margins like they do, you could possibly see them have some success.
I think, no, that's a great point. And even it's kind of hard to encapsulate it, but I think that's a great point, is that the Packers have been making a living on third and shorts and third and mediums. Like it's just, their run game isn't sexy sometimes, but it's kind of some of the design is it like this is on purpose. Like, yeah, we're going to get to a 3rd and 5 or a 3rd and 4 because we can handle it. So it's a great point. And I even look their average third down distance right now. They're 3rd in the NFL, 6.2 yards. And the Steelers are 10th so far in the NFL, 7.53 yards as far as what they allow on third down. So I think that's a great way to kind of just, if you're just watching this game, I know it's Sunday Night Football, so a lot of people are going to be watching. But I think that 3rd down and 4th down are going to be so key on this side of the ball. So that's a great point. The other kind of little tidbit I found was, this is so random, but it's relevant in this game. Steelers are pretty weak against tight end yak. So catch and runs to tight ends, which makes sense with the linebacker. Tucker Kraft might be a Tucker Kraft game. I think any week's a Tucker Kraft game, really, for this Packers offense. But that's just another little thing. I think how you put it there, not really like a compelling thing for the Steelers where I'm like, oh, they have this huge advantage here. I think the Packers kind of match up fairly well against them as long as they block TJ Watt and I guess Dick Herbig now. Going to the God, I mean, also the Steelers have about 40 Badgers on that team. So I know they're playing in Pittsburgh, but maybe some I wanted to be a Packer kind of thing going on. But anyway, Steelers offense versus this Packers defense with the quick throwing Aaron Rodgers, who I made all these points about last week about how quickly he throws the ball and how short he's throwing the ball. And there he goes, throwing a 70-yard heave on the Hail Mary, running around for 10 seconds on a different play. Kind of thought that was pretty funny. That just blew up in my face when I made all these points about it. But when you're watching Steelers offense and Packers defense, what are you focusing on, Charles McDonald?
The Steelers offense is I think maybe this is what we were hoping it would be last year, because last year we were watching it and we were just like, man, it looks like they're doing some nice stuff. And then when you go back and you look at the numbers, they had a really crummy day outside of like maybe some explosives from but you had a couple explosives from Russell Wilson that makes you feel like you did a little better. But I think this team is more sturdy. Just when you just look at some of their EPA numbers this year, like they're around, that in that 8 to 10 range from those EPA and success rate stats. They are a little boomer bust though. They rank 28th in terms of percent of drives without a first down, but on those drives where they do get a first down and they can kind of get things rolling, they are averaging 3.95 points per drive, second in the league, 72% red zone touchdown rate. They are 5th in success rate. So if they can just kind of get going, get that first down, and Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers kind of get in the flow of things, that's kind of when they're good. But they still do waste. I think it's about 40% of their drives don't get a first down too. So a little boom bust. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with the Packers that way, because I do think the Packers defense kind of matches up well. But if you can just get like maybe some blue chip big plays with Aaron Rodgers to DK, or find ways to just survive the pass rush, then maybe you can kind of put a dent in that league. But I think this kind of comes out to like a stalemate for me when looking at the overall combination of players and what they've done. But it's just a matter if the Steelers can get going early in the game. If they waste too many drives early, it's probably going to be tough for them to come back. But if they can get going, they can still put some points on the board.
Yeah, I think last week why Rodgers was able to hold on the ball because Trey Hendrickson was out for the Bengals, and it was just like he could just do whatever he wanted, dust off the ball, and then throw it. Well, now you're playing the Packers with freaking Micah Parsons, who's playing like insane. The Cardinals game was just absolutely insane to rewatch. And Rodgers is still throwing the ball quickly. I actually thought this was maybe the more kind of like, this is the strength of the Steelers is to create the yak and get DK going on slants and stuff underneath. Rodgers throws a lot to the tight ends. Jonnu Smith throws a lot to the backs, Jaylen Warren. And right now he has the second highest rate of throws that are behind the sticks, that are not past the sticks. 29.7% of his throws go past the sticks. So that means 70.3 are short of the sticks. That's the second highest rate in the league. Justin Fields is actually the one that's actually the shortest in the league, I guess would be the way to put it. Yeah, I know, which is not how you want to use Justin Fields, at least to me. Justin Fields to me is launch it and scramble. But the Jets are a whole different discussion. But the Packers defense, so I was like, okay, how are the Packers defense against quick throws? How are they as a tackling team? And because anecdotally, I feel like they're a pretty good tackling team. I think the linebackers have played well. They play really good in zone coverage. They get a lot of bodies near it. And sure enough, the Packers have allowed the second lowest yak on quick passes this year. Yak rate, I should say. They're 4th in success rate allowed on throws short of the sticks. Packers have the 2nd lowest missed tackle rate in the entire NFL so far this year. 2nd fewest yards allowed because of missed tackles. They convert first tackle opportunities at the 3rd highest rate. This is all from Next Gen Stats. They have the 2nd shortest tackling depth on those first opportunities. So their guys are coming up with the ball and hitting and making the tackle, and you're not getting any yak afterwards. They have the 4th highest group opportunities to tackle. So, and this makes sense. They run a lot of zone. They're good in zone. So they got a lot of bodies near the ball. And then the quarterbacks have to get rid of the ball against zone because they have Micah Parsons flying at you on every single play, plus other pass rushers that can get at you. Carl Brooks is actually a pretty good interior pass rusher. That's the one weakness of the Packers defense is their interior D line right now. Devontae White was a limited practice or limited participant. So if he comes back, that could be huge because that's what they need. They need bodies there. So that's the one thing the Steelers can maybe do is just pound it up the middle, because I think passing game wise, the Packers actually have some pretty good answers. They tackle well and they play zone coverages and they can get after the quarterback a little bit. So it's kind of to me like the Steelers, like you said, I feel like the Steelers, it's like ugly it up in the run game and then just launch some stuff to DK. And just hope a couple hit. Like, I think that's what their plan has to be. I mean, it's kind of their plan anyways for most weeks. And it's been kind of fairly working, but this Packers defense is a tough opponent to do that against.
Yeah. I think the Packers, I think they're almost suited up well to kind of choke Aaron out with the way he plays, because he's going to be he's second in time to throw this year, like 2.6 seconds. And if you can just kind of keep those guys in front of you, they should be able to have a fairly successful day. I thought one thing that was interesting was this is the number 1 yak offense in terms of yak per completion versus number 2 yak defense in terms of yak per completion. So we'll see what happens there. But even then, like when I start just listing out like personnel wise, I still think the Packers have a pretty big advantage when it comes to like making plays in space against an offense that does have these yak numbers. Like when you look at the Jalen Warren or Pat Fryer moves, that wouldn't really terrify me if I was the Packers front 7, even though those guys are quality players and Jalen Warren's had a good season. It's like, if we can survive that, we should be okay. And I think the offense will handle their business on the other side.
I'm right there with you. It's like, I like Darnell Washington, but I'm not saying he's a star, and I like Jonnu Smith, but he's fine, and I like Jalen Warren a lot. Good player, but it's, this run game and Jalen Warren. And it's just that this is what the Steelers have to go through. They have to create those big plays somehow. And when you play a team that can tackle real well, it can be really tough. I think the best encapsulation of that, if you just want like a one game example of this, was the Super Bowl last year. The Eagles were the best tackling team in the NFL, especially their DBs. And then you go against the Chiefs that were relying on yak because they couldn't block and they had no one that could get open. And it was a slaughter because they couldn't do anything because it was so airtight. So almost like a Diet Coke version of that, it kind of feels like. I feel like I know where you're leaning already, but final predictions for this game. Again, the Steelers are 3-point underdogs at home.
I'm taking the Packers. I just think because I don't know. It's like good offense versus good defense with Packers versus Steelers. Because even with some of the concerns, I don't want to sell the Steelers short. It's been a top 10 offense this season. Aaron Rodgers has been a big improvement over what they had last year, and Arthur Smith and the offensive line are gelling too. But just when you look at the other side, it's like maybe a top 5 offense versus a below average defense. That's where I think they kind of lose. So I'm going to take this the Packers to win and cover, and have Aaron be real pissy about it for a week or so.
Some coded messages through the media. Yeah, I'm also going Packers, and I think cover is my prediction as well. Same reasons that you're kind of listening out there. I think the Packers just have nice natural answers. It's always that term I use against this team, and where like the Steelers have some pass rush and they can just do some things on defense, but they're very gettable right now, which is just always the feeling with the Tomlin defense, which is probably so frustrating for other teams when they can't do it. I will say the Steelers offense is kind of showing that the theory of this offense or the idea of this offense can work. Like it can have some success, but it does have limitations. But before the season, this is kind of what I expected out of it. Like kind of a win ugly with some Aaron Rodgers nice moments, with DK Metcalf having some nice moments, with a solid run game. And that's that's kind of what they've been so far. So they desperately need another receiver so bad.
Yeah, so
they
bad,
should be calling
so badly.
everybody. And I think they are.
See,
so
I thought they were going to do DK and Pickens this year together. So just go all in for a year with Aaron, just as best as you can. But yeah, they could use one more receiver. And I just want to say before we get off of this, I know that you're on board with this on me, but Arthur Smith is not the worst play caller in the world, like people want to point out to be. This is now 3 different teams where he's coordinated a top 10 offense, because the Falcons had one in 2022 with Marcus Mariota as the quarterback, and obviously Tennessee. Yes. So 3 different stops, 3 different, completely different quarterbacks, different teams. Yep. Not the worst play caller in the world, like people want to say.
I know, it's just a meme. It's just like, that's the thing. It's just the narrative joke that no one wants to update their bit. I don't know. I think their stuff's pretty good. That's why I've always just been like, there's always been a disconnect to me. It's not the perfect thing in the world or offense in the world, but I think it's just, they do a lot of good stuff. They make it hard on defenses. Like, I know people like want to laugh at the tight ends and all that stuff, but actually when you talk to defensive coordinators, like, yeah, that's a to play against. Like, that is so pain. That's so hard to play against. So I'm right there with you. I've always been an Artie apologist. But we are going to take our first break, and we'll come back with another game we are getting lost in the sauce with. See you guys in a sec. We are back with another game that we're getting lost in the sauce with. This is the Cowboys at the Broncos. And I want to say thank you, Dallas Cowboys, for being relevant to make this game interesting, to have a very good offense against a very good defense, because this is also our Haas fight of the week. Haas fight for one side of the ball because Cowboys Broncos defense. Yes, the over under of this game is 50.5 because Cowboys defense. But the Broncos are 3.5 point favorites at Mile High. We're going to start with the Haas fight side. Cowboys O, Broncos D. Good on good. What is grabbing your attention, Chuck?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I mean, there's a lot to pull out here. But where I went originally when I was starting to look at this was the week 2 game between the Broncos and the Colts, because I think that's kind of an interesting game to go back to now that we have all this information about where the Colts are. Right, because week
Colts
2,
offense is good.
This is really, really, really strong. One of the best offenses in NFL history, apparently. More points than the 2007 Patriots. I went back into that game like knowing now, okay, that's one of the best offenses in the league. Absolutely dominant run game. I've said I think Jonathan Taylor should be getting some MVP hype just for what they've accomplished on the ground this season. And the Broncos defense actually did a pretty good job on them looking back. Now, the Colts, they still scored 29 points. They average almost 3 points per drive. And I think knowing what we know now, looking back on that, that's really not as egregious maybe as it felt in the time, because they are, one of the best offenses in the league. And they held the Colts rushing game to a 38.7 success rate. So if you just look at where Dallas has kind of been able to crush teams up front, maybe last year you have been a little bit less solid in your belief that the Broncos, even as good as they were on defense, could go toe-to-toe with an offensive line that's this big and this physical, because we saw what Buffalo did to them. We saw what Baltimore did to them, and they kind of moved around like child's play. But if the run defense is actually going to be credible enough to slow down the offensive line and, put Dak in more situations, which is still tough because Dak's been incredible this year, then I think you can get to the point where you can pin your ears back and try to make them a little bit more one-dimensional. Now, you still have to win your matchups. We're against CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and all those weapons on the outside, but you're still looking at PS2, and Riley Moss and some of those guys with the fronts that they have. You just got to slow down the run game and try to make them pass first, I think. And they can do it because they have slowed down what is apparently one of the best rushing games in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, that we know now, that we can say that.
We know now.
We know that now. No, and it's a great point because the Cowboys' run offense is really good. 3rd in rushing DVOA, 10th in success rate. They get to it a lot of different ways. And when you go against this Broncos defense, it's like, all right, what can we do? The Giants gave them a little good film as far as like how to run on them, but then the Giants also kept running this toss play, and like they worked the first time, and then I think they ran it 3 more times, and I got absolutely nuked the other 3 times. So it was like as the game went along, kind of lost a little bit of it. Cooper Beebe might be back for the Cowboys as well, the center, and the Cowboys are with that run game, they can just do so much. And I'm curious what Clayton Adams cooks up, because it's just kind of like, all right, what's your version? Like, how do you go against this Broncos defense? But you can even see this on the YouTube page. Cowboys are averaging over 30 points per game. The Broncos are first in success rate allowed. The Cowboys offense is allowing the second fewest sacks, going against a defense that has the most sacks. So second lowest sack rate versus the most sacks. Broncos are first in red zone efficiency. Cowboys are 9th. Broncos are first and third down efficiency. Cowboys are 7th. So just good on good wherever you look. Yeah. So it's like, all right, if I were the Cowboys, how do you attack this Broncos defense? And maybe this is the one game just standing out to me that I watched recently, but when Wendell Robinson for the Giants is going off against you, I'm going to pay attention to that. Like when Wendell Robinson is catching passes every which way with 29-inch arms, all right, what happened here? And it's a relativity thing. It's that I'm not saying this player's bad, but relative to his teammates, he's the lesser player, and that's Jaquan McMillan, who is the slot player for the Broncos. And so the Broncos play a ton of man coverage. You know who lines up in the slot a ton for the Cowboys? CeeDee Lamb. So to me, it's like, all right, the Broncos are going to put PS2 on Pickens. I could see that all day. Yeah. All right, are you going to put Riley Moss and have him travel with CD? I don't know. They might. But if they don't, all right, you have CD versus Jaquan McMillan. And McMillan right now, so this again, next gen stats, EPA per target. He's allowed 0.15. All right, what does that mean? All right, it's 9th among slot defenders that have 100 or more coverage snaps. 9th worst, I should say. Riley Moss and Pat Surtain, it's negative 0.12. So when quarterbacks target PS2 or Riley Moss, it's negative expected points. Target separation, this is average target separation for them. For McMillan, when he's targeted, it's 3.1. When it's Moss, it's 2.1. When it's Surtain, it's 1.6. See where the player strength's there. Open percentage is a stat for Next Gen Stats has. So it's when they are getting targeted, how open is the receiver when he was targeted? McMillan, 36.7%, Moss, 13%, PS2, 10%. So essentially triple the rate of PS2. And I looked at this kind of league wide. It's like, is that bad? It's more like just average, for a slot player. But he's actually like a little above average for a slot player. But relative to PS2 and Riley Moss, it's like, all right, well, that's the weakness of this defense. So I think they're going to run it. Like Schottenheimer, is not afraid to run it. I think that's a strength of this team, but I do think that we might see a big CD game if they do match McMillan with CD in the slot. And if they don't, if they're kind of just going like, no, we're going to have Riley Moss travel with that. Is this my guy, Ryan Flournoy? Does he get going? Is it a Turpin game? Like, is it a Jake Ferguson game? Is it the auxiliary players for the Cowboys that have to step up in the passing game? Dak's been a freaking machine this year. He's building an MVP candidacy right now if the Cowboys keep rolling. So it's really fun when you have good on good like this. It's like, all right, Clayton Adams, Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer, how do you think you have to attack this Broncos defense? Because everyone has to come up with their own flavor against it because they challenge you. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty geeked up for this matchup. So again, thank you, Cowboys offense, for being very relevant.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I'll add back to maybe some of the running game stuff is basically outside of because I was just running back there, and I don't want Colts fans to kill me because Jonathan Taylor did have 165 yards in that game. But on a play-by-play basis, outside of 168, 70-yard rush, they did an okay job just kind of staying alive in front of what is one of the best offensive lines in running game in the league. And outside of that, Saquon Barkley got stifled. Basically, every other team that they've played has got absolutely punched in the mouth against the run. So, I think they're probably at a similar-ish point as last year, maybe a little bit better, where if you have maybe that elite running back talent or that elite, ground game component like a Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, you can get them. But Dallas does not have that, that exact piece, even though some of the running backs have had a nice year. So I think this is going to have to be a game that I've grown to enjoy watching, where Dak had just kind of played hero ball. And shoot, why not? You see some of the throws he's made this year? I mean, if they had any semblance of a defense, he'd be top MVP voting.
And it's a defense that the Broncos defense that challenges you in man. So, which is like, it's again, baseball's on my mind, maybe even with the Mariners losing, but it's a power pitcher versus power hitter. It's all right. We're going to throw 102 at you. Can you hit it? Like that. It's awesome. It's the best. It's like some of the most fun stuff. It's mano y mano. So yeah, I know I'm with you. I just kind of like, I really like the Cowboys offense or run game, and I respect it. But the thing is, it's not like the Broncos are slouches in the area. Like even against the Giants, it's like Giants had some nice runs, but then as the game went along, it was like those became less nice. It became like they adjusted very well to it. So it's like if you do run, you have to get after them early before they start adjusting to what you're trying to do, which again is a sign of a great defense. Vance Joseph has adjusted as well as anybody. Have multiple instances of him this year adjusting in the second half. The Eagles game's the best example. So this is a great coaching side, a great quarterback versus defense side. The Broncos don't really have any weaknesses on the defense, maybe a little at linebacker, but it's not like they're bad. Hufanga has been incredible at safety for them. They got Jonah Ellis is coming back for them. Like they got 7 D linemen and edges that they could just throw at you. So yeah, this is why it's a hoss fight, because it's just going to be an absolute battle on this side of the ball. Going to the other side though, I don't know. A little bit of a reverse hoss fight here. I should have queued Stone in. We could have had a hoss fight and a reverse hoss fight in the exact same game to cue that soundbite. But no, Broncos offense, Cowboys defense. Can this be a get right game for the Broncos offense? What do you think, Chuck?
It should be.
I hope.
Hold on. You can't get right game. I mean, they were incredible last week. They scored 33 points.
Oh my God.
They were
Dude, I watched that game back.
What are you talking about?
That was one of the worst games I've watched back in all 22, and both teams scored more than 30 points. And it was like, it was blood ugly. But yeah, continue.
I mean, I was just laughing watching that Jackson Dart drive, because as soon as he crossed the end zone, I was like, people are going to forget immediately that he tried to like 4 picks. On this exact same drive before. Yep.
Just on everybody.
And
as soon as he crossed the line, everybody saw a flash. And they forgot what happened.
If one Broncos defender catches one of those passes, the conversation is completely different. But you get a PI and then you get a touchdown. That's how the Disney story goes. But this game, look, if they can't beat up the Cowboys defense, then you should really be hitting the red alert alarms. And even where the Broncos offense is, I think it's been disappointing this year, but they're not the worst offense in the league. They're 14th in EPA per play, 27th in success rate on offense, but it's the Cowboys defense. I don't really know what else to say besides that. They don't have the Cowboys defense. They don't have any players worth talking about, really. It looks like Kenny Clark is going to be limited for this game, so whatever. Just hope that Dak can keep you alive if you want to win this.
I think what you mentioned, the EPA versus success rate, that's everything. Shoot, I feel like, don't want to be like a broken record, but like going against this version of a Sean Payton, Bo Nix, Broncos offense is survive the shot plays and you're good.
Yep.
Like that's it. You just have to survive those 4, 5, 6 designer plays. Because if you do, they can't really consistently move the ball. The run game feels like it improves as the game goes along because they adjust. But it's not like it's like the craziest run game I've ever seen. It's well blocked, well schemed and everything, but it's just not very explosive. Dobbins is Dobbins. He's fine. And then passing game wise, just anyone that's like kind of like, oh, you're so mean on a Broncos offense, watch what they do on second down. If you're going to just focus on one thing with this Broncos offense, anytime they have, so this is also, it's very, football, especially the NFL, is very situational. Second down, it's 2 versions of second down. 2nd and 1 to 6 yards to go is considered normal down distance. That's considered a run down technically. 2nd and 7 and longer is considered 2nd and long. And it's usually its own category, how coaches scheme it, both sides of the ball. And when I watch the Broncos offense, whenever they're in that 2nd and long, because they usually have a 1 or 2 yard run or an incomplete pass on first down, they just run the same exact concept over and over, which is they'll build an overloaded side. It's a man versus zone read. So keep it nice and simple for the quarterback. It's a gimme kind of play where they run a swing to one side, which is the zone beater, and they have a bunch of blockers, and then they isolate Cortland Sutton, to run like a slant, an out, or a go. And they run it over, a bunch of teams run it. I'm not like saying they're the only team that runs it, but they really run it. And they really run it on second down. And I looked it up. Bo Nix on 2nd and 7+, his relative air yards to sticks, so how far he's throwing it, air yards to where the first down marker is on 2nd and long, is -6.5 yards, which means that it's a lot of stuff underneath. And this was effective, and you can use it as a changeup or as a way to get a gimme throw. But when you lean, this is why guardrails or training wheels have limitations over time, is defenses just go, oh, here comes the swing again. All right, let's go clothesline his ass. Like that. Watch the Giants against these swing routes. They just could not wait. They're like, oh, here it comes again. Here it comes. Boom, 5 guys running at the ball and like just depleting guys. Like it's so that's that, the Giants defense has actually they have a little something to it. I know the end wasn't great for them, but they got some team speed and the tackling is whatever, but it's not the worst defense in the world. But I mean, like this Cowboys defense, it's like, all right, if that's all you're going to do on second down, all right, if we're playing rock, paper, scissors and you're throwing rock every time, all right, I can at least figure that out. And so it's just, it just needs more layers. And that's where it's this disconnect where people are like, oh, I've seen some Broncos fans blaming Sean Payton. I'm like, Sean Payton can literally call anything in the playbook. Like I've seen his playbook. His playbook is this big. If it's a PDF file, it'll take up your whole computer. And it, honestly, like that's why I almost get frustrated about it. It's like there's a reason they're calling these limited plays. They're not trusting Bo Nix to drop back and read the whole field. Against the Cowboys defense, that over time you can find a hole, especially against their zone coverages that Eberflus runs. Like, all right, like because that's the way to beat it, is drop back and throw it against them. But if you can't really do that consistently, all right, what are you going to do? Are they just going to run the ball over and over? I don't know. Like I'm curious where the Broncos go from here, because I think there is some frustration, even if they did win that game. But I do think Sean Payton's licking his chops about looking at those Cowboys linebackers and some other aspects of this. Like they're going to get some points and they're going to get a couple shot plays. It's just, I think there's going to be some 3 and out, some frustrating drives maybe for this Broncos offense, because that's kind of what they've been doing this year. But yeah, focused on second downs, I guess, is the go. Third downs in the first game, second downs in this game. We'll get to first down probably in another game we're going to talk about later. But final predictions: Broncos 3.5 point favorites at home.
I think the Broncos win. I think some of the flaws within the Broncos offense are real and will impact them down the road, but probably not this week.
Right. It's not a dangerous matchup for them. Like the Giants defense could they punch them a little bit because they have some pass rush and stuff. Yeah, the Cowboys defense. I watched it back, the Commanders game, and I was like, I was ready to go like, oh, they improved. And I watched it. I'm like, oh God, it's like guys are running free everywhere. they did some nice things, but it wasn't like a very encouraging performance. Siobhan Ravel started practicing again. Remember him from East Carolina. So I'm curious if he gets going. I'm not sure if he does. Overshown started practicing as well. Trayvon Diggs is out with a concussion. I should mention that those kind of players as well. My heart, my gut is saying Cowboys here though, because I just feel like the offense will get rolling. But I am going with the Broncos as well. I'm going to go. How about this? This is my compromise. Broncos win, Cowboys cover. That's all. I'll cover it right there. I do think that the Cowboys offense will have some moments, but it's tough.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched Sean Payton for way too many years intently with the Falcons stuff. This is the matchup that he just kills. Like, oh, we've got a horrible defense. Excuse me, I didn't mean to curse like that, but yeah, we've had a horrible defense.
I know I've had a couple curse words that actually kind of surprised me. I was like, did I just say that? So
I got a little comfortable there. Because Sean's looking at this. Oh, we're going to shred. We are going to shred. And I know. And Dallas, they can do it, but I don't know. I think this Broncos defense is a little better than last year, and Dallas' defense, it's so bad. The only thing they're like above average at is fourth downs and pressure rates occasionally. That's about it. Fourth down conversions.
It's when you look at all the units. No offense to special teams, but all right, Cowboys offense very good. Broncos defense very good. Broncos offense, but Cowboys defense, crap. Like, so it's like, all right, I'm betting against the team that has the worst unit, and that's the Cowboys defense. So that's kind of the logic here. All right, going to take our last break, and then we got a triple slop watch coming up after that. See you guys in a sec. We are back, and it's time for the triple slop watch.
Warning, this is a slop watch.
Oh, yeah. I love when you see the gack. That's what it's called, right? From Nickelodeon. Slime.
Yeah.
Slime. Yeah, we got slime right there. Yeah. These are games. So slop watches, these are the games that look bad on paper, but still worth a spot on your multi-view. And honestly, it's by default this week, because if you look at I think there was 7 of the games this week had a touchdown or more spread. 8 of the games this week had a touchdown or more spread. So a lot of slop to look through. But we found 3 games that grabbed our attention. First, starting with, it's kind of like a Belichick Bowl, but he's not involved anymore. We got the Browns and the Patriots. You can say Mangini, I guess, too. Browns, Romeo Cornell. Browns, Patriots,
Bowl.
Patriots.
Oh,
I'm trying. There's a lot of like Browns, Patriots connections. I could have kept going and going.
What's that guy up
but
to
Patriots.
these days?
Who? Mangini or
Eric Mangini. What's he up to these days?
is he still working TV? I think he's still on TV.
I guess so.
He's actually not bad on TV. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I don't know. Yeah, current television sports analyst. So, yeah, that's what he's doing these days.
Okay.
But we got him and I. He's a fellow ball boy. We got a great ball boy alum association. Me, him, Kyle Shanahan, Corey Chavis. Patriots are a touchdown favorite, 7-point favorite. So, touchdown and extra point. The over-under in this game is 40.5. So, you love seeing a touchdown favorite plus a 40.5 over-under here. Slop watch, Chuck. What's grabbing your attention in this game? I think it's pretty easy to tell you from my angle anyway. So I'm curious if you have anything different, but
I mean, I guess I'm just, I don't know if David versus Goliath is the right word, but like Drake May going against the Browns defense is the story here. And when I say David versus Goliath, I more mean in the sense that like, the Browns have maybe the best rushing defense in the NFL, and the Patriots have maybe the worst rushing offense in the NFL. So wouldn't really expect anything from any designed handoff this week, which kind of puts Drake May where he's going to have to battle that Cleveland pass rush in the secondary, and that's fun because he's capable of playing against them. I have no interest in watching the other side. Dylan Gabriel getting pants by what has turned out to be a quality Patriots defense. I get Cleveland. I guess they're just gonna have to ride out to the year and just pitter patter on offense. But that's like almost too slop for slop watch. But I do think that Drake May, just keeping his head above water and trying to make big plays against a Cleveland defense that basically demands you make big plays will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. I don't think the run game's going to really get going. It got going last week for the Patriots against the Titans, but Jeffrey Simmons was out for a good chunk of that. And it's the Titans. Devontae Sweat had some nice moments though. But they were able to get a bunch of duo runs going. Like you could say they were trying to be methodical with it. You could tell early in the game, but still the 31st in rushing DVOA, 29th in rushing success rate. But the Patriots are 4th in passing success rate, or passing DVOA, I should say. They're 1st in passing success rate. But like you said, the Browns might have the best run defense in the NFL. 1st in rushing DVOA, 1st in rushing success rate allowed. They allow a 30.7% rushing success rate allowed this year. So put that in perspective, the Texans' run offense is at 29%. So they turn every run game into the Texans' run game. That's really freaking good. They get a run stuff, which is a gain of 0 or negative yards on 31% of run plays. Easily the highest of the week. So 1 out of 3 run plays goes for 0 or negative yards. 10% higher than average. Myles Garrett's been a monster. As always, Malik Collins has been a monster. Mason Graham's in there. They're doing some cool stuff with Carson Schwarzenegger. He's got some great speed for sideline to sideline. But yeah, I think it's the passing game. And I'm curious what the Patriots get to here. But yeah, the Browns are 14th in passing DVOA. They're 25th. I'm trying to find something. I was like, all right, so is it tight ends? Is it receiver? So the Browns are 30th in success rate allowed to receiver targets, according to Next Gen Stats. And really, when I was watching the Dolphins game, even, but other games I watched with this Browns defense, a lot of outbreakers, a lot of quick outs and out routes because Schwartz, Jim Schwartz, I'm just calling him Jason. Jim Schwartz on defense, he really teaches his corners to play outside in, like their eyes are always angled towards the quarterback because they're trying to jump stuff. All right, we're going to go rush here, and then you can jump and make a big play. And so, okay, if you're aimed in and you run an out route, okay, I got to recover and get to the out route. So just one little thing I think they can throw at and pick at, but the best test so far for May. So it's going to be really fun. He's building the MVP candidacy. I mentioned this week with Matt was they faced the easiest opponent schedule so far this year. And if that's your like, oh, okay, well, they're going to get got they also face the easiest schedule the rest of the season. So this might be the best test that you want to see if you're kind of like the anti-May or you're like really are dreading seeing the Patriots have another quarterback. But I do think they do have a very good quarterback. But no, going to be a fun little slop watch here, at least just one aspect of this game. And I think May will be able to throw on them a little bit, but I think the run game will be a huge slog. All right. Want to do a prediction on that one? Patriots are a touchdown favorite.
I think I'm going to roll with, I'm definitely rolling with the Patriots. I think I'm going to go with the spread too. It's just because, dude, that Browns offense is crap. I know they got 31 points last week, and Quinton Judkins is a stud. Like, that's a really good player, core player to build around. Okay, but that's one guy. And I think the quarterback situation is too poor to overcome. So, Patriots, I'm going to give them the cover. Yeah, Patriots to cover.
I'm going the same way. Same reason. I think the Browns offense there's just a lack of consistency and they're on the road now. So I'm right there with you. I think Judkins is so good, and they know it too. They know that that's going to be the engine of their offense. So they're putting 6 offensive linemen out there, but it's like, it's still just like whatever. Mm-hmm. Got also a sneaky Cole Strange revenge. Oh no, that was Cole Strange with the Dolphins. Cole Strange was getting murdered by the Browns defense last week with the Dolphins at guard. I actually was like kind of felt bad for him after a while because there's a lot of bad reps out there. I'm with you though. Patriots win, Patriots cover. Even if the Patriots defense, you can get them a little bit, but I don't think this Browns team can do that. All right, next game of the slop watch menu. Speaking of MVPs, we have a guy that's won a couple that might be coming back this week. That's Lamar Jackson, who's practiced a little bit this week. The Ravens, I looked it up. They have a 23% chance to win the AFC North still, I think, according to FPI from ESPN.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Funny to me. 23%. But they're playing the Bears, Roquan Smith's former team. The Ravens are 6.5 point favorites, which Vegas obviously knows that. It's crazy to me, even with Lamar Jackson coming back. Why is that crazy to you, Charles?
They let the Texans score 44 points. That same Texans offense you watched on Monday night, they let them score 44 points. I'm really confused here because I do think like there's a world where the offense could definitely be good enough where they like you can threaten in the back half of the season, but like you're 1-5 with the worst Ravens defense I've ever seen in my entire life. So I don't understand it. Like even the 6.5 spread to me is insane.
It's insane to me too. I kept looking. I was like, who's out for the Bears? Like, who did Caleb get hurt? Like, are they missing 5 defenders? Like, but I'm right there with you. I know Lamar's coming back. I know the Bears defense isn't great. They've improved since the bye, but it's not great. But the Ravens defense is god awful. They haven't hit the quarterback at all this year. They only have 8 sacks this entire year. 30th in knockdown percentage. 32nd in EPA per play allowed, 27th in passing success rate allowed, 21st in rushing success rate allowed, 29th in EPA per rush, 27th in DVOA. It's not like I'm finding a stat. I'm like, oh, they played some tough offenses, which they've had, but they got murdered by those offenses. And the Bears offense is actually pretty good right now. Like this is a above average offense with a run game that's churning right now. I mean, shoot, even like the Bears, I keep saying this, is the Bears zone runs have been really getting going. They're 9th in yards per carry on zone runs, 7th in success rate on zone runs, according to FTN. Ravens, 6th highest success rate allowed this year to zone runs. Like you can run on them. I think the pass game, you can pass on them. I think even with the Bears offensive line, which has improved with Benedict at left tackle, like I don't think the Ravens are very threatening, like rushing the passer. So I'm right there with you. Lamar is back. Great. But also remember the Ravens run game was kind of took a drop off before, even when he was healthy. Like we talked about this. Like that's why they had a lot of 3 and outs. They were super reliant on explosive plays. So I'm with you. I didn't understand this spread at all, even if I do respect Lamar a ton and I respect that he's coming back. I do think that this Bears team's, the Ravens defense is bad, and I think this Bears team is actually solid right now.
Yeah, the one thing that I guess that if I was just playing devil's advocate and saying here's why the Ravens could cover this if Lamar is good, this could be a nuclear like Lamar game where he just goes off, because I think that his strengths play right into the weaknesses of the Bears' hands, namely their 73% scramble success rate given up to quarterbacks this year, which is one of the worst rates in the league. Yeah, and when Lamar was in, like what made me so worried about like him leaving and like how long him being out and what would be possible while he's out is even in those games when he was in earlier in the season and he's shredding defenses through the air. And they're having big plays through the air. They still, like you said, they still were not running the ball well. It's like, oh man, if you got Lamar Jackson on the field and you still you're reliant on these big plays. You're not getting those, everything in between that you were last year too. That's a little scary, because now it feels more like this is closer to a one-man show. And I know that Derrick Henry, once Lamar gets back, should have more opportunities. It just feels like maybe it's a little bit overly reliant on Lamar, but ultimately that's not the worst thing in the world. Like he's Lamar Jackson. You're fine, kind of
one of the best players in the world.
Ultimately, you're fine giving him that workload, and he has done like some really special things with it, and we've seen him take over games, and that could be an avenue where this gets done. But still, like I feel like that's a pretty big disrespect to where the Bears offense is, and not enough thinking about how bad that Ravens defense was before they went on their bye. 44 points in Texas, that's really all I should have to say.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. There was no consistency with that Ravens. That's why they allowed some teams to come back early in the year too, is that they were, I think they have the one of the highest 3 and out rates, even when Lamar was in there, and their rushing success rate was down, but they were so explosive. But when you pair that with a bad defense, you can't win that way.
Yeah.
Like you want to have a team that's high success rate and maybe lower explosives if you have a bad defense, because it's classic coaching, control the clock, control the flow of the game. But that's true here. Like this is why the math of that makes sense to me. But right now their team is not built that way. They're built around huge Lamar plays, and which is going to be fun. Like he's going to get a couple, like you said, but like this team right now, that defense is just there's too much negatives going on. Like I could pick at 14 different things on this defense, like where I'm just like, oh, I could do that against you. Oh, I could do that against you. Oh, I could do that against you. Going against a Bears offense that's really rolling right now, or finding their ways. Yeah, that's a little dicey to me. I'm gonna guess Ravens 6.5 point favorites. What's your prediction?
I'm actually going to take Ravens to win. Because I do think Lamar can have a big day, but I'm definitely taking the Bears to cover. Just the last thing I have on that Ravens-Texans game. Just you guys all saw that on Monday night, man. That was crap for the Texans offense, and that's what they are every week. That team, 66 drop back success rate against the Ravens defense, 66%. It's like historically bad. The Bears are going to cover. I think you should feel pretty good about the Bears covering this game, unless Lamar just goes absolutely sicko Madden mode.
Yeah, and then Bears have like stupid turnovers and stuff like that. But I am easily Bears cover. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm even gonna say Bears win as almost almost an underdog of the week if we want to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna go Bears win here. Actually, I would take the over as well. I don't know. The Ravens just feel yucky right now. I know they took out the ping pong tables, but I'm just I don't know. They're kind of catching the Bears at kind of a weird spot right now, because I feel like the Bears are feeling good about themselves.
It's always such a bad sign.
Yeah. The ping pong table story, and then it came out. Oh, it was the player. It was led by the players, not the coaches. We're just like, oh, great.
That's
you have to explain it. That's
even worse. Yeah.
I know. It should be feeling good. Lamar's back. Steelers just lost. Like you guys should be starting to feel good about themselves, and it just doesn't feel that way right now in Baltimore. All right, we got another big spread. I guess all these could have been upset of the weeks or whatever. Not really underdogs of the week, but we got Bills at the Panthers. Panthers 7.5 point favorites going against this Bills team. They're coming off a bye week. what you focusing on this one? I got a fun little thread to pull out on this one, but what about you, Chuck?
Oh, I'm just interested in this game because this is to me like the first like real gut check for the Panthers this season. Because I do think that what they were able to do against Miami and Dallas is like, it's a sign of growth from where they were at the start of the season. They're definitely improved. And I think all these years of being crap and having this cap space has resulted in kind of like a pretty solid offensive supporting cast. I'm still not sold on the defense. I know that some of the numbers are okay this year. I'm still not quite sold on them. I think Josh Allen and the Bills still have a big game, but this is like a gut check, grow up game for the Panthers against a team. It's not like the Bills are like infallible. Shoot, we saw the Patriots, who are still firmly like in their rebuild journey, even though Drake May has had his MVP year, and they went to Buffalo and beat them. So I think there is room for the Panthers offense to have success, but I'm still not there on trusting Bryce Young to actually get him across the finish line. I'm not sure how I feel about that 7.5 point spread, but it does feel a little more appropriate here to me than like the Bears going to Baltimore. Yeah,
well, and also, Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, because Young's got the high ankle.
Yes, that's right.
So, right. But either way, even across the finish line the rest of the season. I'm with you. I like that. I haven't really kind of had a statement on the Panthers defense yet. A state of the Panthers defense, because I want to see them go against like these offenses. I know they did well against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys also got them pretty good at times. So like that's
Dak's right.
I want to see this. I want to see it against this offense, and then I'll be like, okay, this is how I feel about you. Whether that's fair or not, that's just how I feel. Because their underlying numbers are good. Like they are. Like they're getting there. It's not the worst defense in the league, and it's not the worst offense in the league. Like the run game for the Panthers is really good. And that's kind of the way I hinted at, the thread I'm pulling at here. Because this Bills run defense is bad. Outright bad. Run defense, they're 23rd in run stuff rate. Okay, that's one thing. So 0 yards and negative yards. And then all of a sudden I came across a stat. It's like, ooh, that's a high number. Explosive run rate allowed. 14.7% by this Bills defense, which is dead last in the NFL, 32nd. It's like, that seems like a really high number. Anytime it's double digits, that's a high number. Okay. Is that just historically high, or is that just, like that I'm wrong here? It's not only just historical, it's not just high this year. It's the highest explosive run rate allowed by a defense since at least 2002, according to True Media. The record is 13.7% by the Raiders in 2011. So 1% more than the worst run defense that we've seen in at least 20 years as far as giving up explosive runs. And that makes sense. They're a little, they're not the biggest bodies up front. They have some guys. Larry Ogunjobi's coming back. Michael Hoyt's coming back from their suspensions. But the Bills linebackers aren't big. That's been an issue for them. Their safeties are bad, outright bad. They haven't been tackling well. They're not reading the game well. They're playing way too deep. And then when they fill up the run, they're late. They're taking bad angles. So you have a defense that's given up so many explosive runs going against a run offense that's 5th in success rate, 7th in rushing DVOA, 10th in explosive runs, and wants to run the ball. I don't know. That's a pretty natural matchup, as I like to say, natural advantage, natural flow of the game that the Panthers can get to where, it's Andy Dalton playing, but I don't think they will get threatened that much because I think they can just run it at will. And also, not only that, not only is it just like, just run the ball. Panthers run duo as much as anybody. I'm going to always harp on that. Like, hell yeah.
Yep.
Bills against duo have allowed 8.4 yards per carry against duo this year. Almost a first down per duo run they faced this year. And it's like a decent sample size. It's like 3 dozen of them. They've allowed a 54% success rate against duo, second highest rate allowed in the NFL. So Ogunjobi's coming back, Michael Hoyt's coming back, but it's not like, Mount Washington or, prime. I'm trying to think like a run stuffing nose tackle that's just
Casey Hampton
dropping in there. What did you say?
I said Casey Hampton.
Hampton. I'm blanking on God. There's a guy, and I'm blanking on a name. But anyways, there's no big run stuffing D tackle in there. That it's just like, this guy's coming back. That's going to really help here. So I don't know. I think the Panthers are just going to be able to pound it at will, and not only just get their 4 or 5 yard gains to Chuba Hubbard or Rico Dowdle, but like rip them off like they did a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I'm against that Cowboys defense actually. So I think, man, I think they have I know they're over a touchdown favorite here or underdog here, but actually the Panthers on offense should actually be being like, we can keep this close. Like we can make this ugly and hopefully get a turnover from somebody and like kind of ugly this game up. So kind of a natural answer for this Panthers offense.
I think the more I think about the spread of this game, I kind of think that whoever I think the odds makers are just throwing out Panthers Jets, saying do it again.
Oh yeah.
Because if you pull that game out of the Panthers schedule, and I know it's not fair because they did play the game. I'm just talking about how Vegas might be looking at it. They dropped from like 12th to 23rd in EPA per play, 23rd in points per drive to become like a pretty below average defense when you pull out that Jets game. Like I didn't realize how much it was boosting the numbers. Like they jumped like 12 ranks when you put that game back in, so it's still been a below average defense. And I think, then you start looking at how it compares to Buffalo's offense when you pull that game out, and you would think that this might be a blowout. And I do think that Josh Allen and the offense is going to have a day. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, but still, like you said, on the flip side, they should be able to keep up somewhat. They shouldn't. I don't think there should be like a disgusting blowout unless Bryce Young is just terrible or Andy Dalton is just terrible, which is always on the table. Which is always on the table. It's definitely possible,
Right. There's a non-zero chance of that happening.
Shouldn't be talking about that. Their quarterback play is definitely going to be good because it could be a disaster that absolutely takes them out of the game. But I think if they can just pound it, they should be able to keep it closer than maybe the 7-point spread.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. The Panthers, Panthers on even DVOA wise, which, try to adjust for that. They're 23rd against the pass. So it's still bottom 10, against the pass. And that's kind of, I think they can stop the run. Like Derek Brown's pretty good. But again, the Bills run game is freaking awesome usually. So that's kind of more of a strength on strength, but it's Josh Allen. It's not like, oh, this is an interesting pass game. It's like, no, it's Josh Allen with a bye week, So like, I do think that they'll be able to throw if they get into those situations. But I don't know. I don't know. I think the Panthers are just going to be able to ugly this up. It's just like one of those things where it's like they can do some things that maybe just give them a chance. So predictions, even at 7.5 point underdogs. So what you going? Think?
I just look at the Jets past couple weeks. Holy crap, man!
Dude, it's so ugly.
I'm gonna go.
It's so ugly.
I know what I just said about the Panthers offense, but I'm actually going to take Bills win, Bills cover. I think this is just going to be a Josh Allen does Josh Allen things and they can't keep up.
You can't keep up. I know.
No.
I really, really want. I'm gonna go Bills win. I am gonna go Panthers cover, but I do think it's the Bills. It's not like it's a game that like the Bills do control. Like as far as they do win this game, but maybe they just cover at the end though. Where the Panthers are able to kind of like for 2.5 quarters, kind of do some things with the run game until they have to start passing, which is not what they're built to do. I don't know. Might get some McMillan stuff, going against the Bills pass game, but I don't know. It's just kind of Josh Allen's really good. I think we needed to remind us of how good he is sometimes. I know our last exposure was going against the Falcons defense, but I thought that was just a banshee game from the Falcons, third down, blitz packages going against after a bye week, going against the Bills, who kind of just seemed lethargic in that game, and they're still able to have some moments. All right. That was enough from our extended slop watch. We had some big spreads there. Might keep, some of those teams are going to keep it close, though. It'll always be entertaining. It's now time for some Hail Marys. Hail Marys is where we throw up a prayer of a prediction. Charles is still trying to get on the board. The Panthers did not the Panthers did beat the Jets. I know but it was only a 6-point game, and the Jets almost mucked it up. You're close. We're close with those Jets predictions, and I'm 1 for 7. Sam Laporta did not have a big night. Really, the kind of Lions offense kind of overall didn't have a very successful, efficient night, even with the big plays that happened. But Charles, what is your Hail Mary for week 8?
Okay, I'm done betting on crappy teams. We're gonna have to ride the back of the superstars.
That's a good method.
And my Hail Mary this week is the Chiefs break their streak of 40-point games. It's been 2 years since they've had a 40-point game. September 2023 against the Chicago Bears is the last time they scored 40 points in the game. And I think they break that streak this week against the Commanders. That's my Hail Mary. 40-point game for the first time since 2023. Chiefs are on fire. Oh. I do not trust this Dan Quinn defense right now. They are very, very gettable. I know some of the numbers look good. Some of the underlying numbers look okay. But when you watch it, like, this is screaming for an elite team to absolutely destroy them. I mean, shoot, last week, the Cowboys scored 44.
Yeah, 44.
And I think that where the Chiefs are last week, especially with how much they wanted to get Rasheed Rice the ball, they just seem all the way back. Like, since week 5, the Chiefs, they're basically the best, top 1, top 2 offense in the league. 63% success rate on offensive dropbacks the past 2 weeks. They're averaging over 3 points per drive, almost 3 first downs per drive. With this, they have been absolute cruising. And now Rasheed Rice is back, and I just don't think that the Commanders' defense is schematically sound enough to keep in my bay.
It's that's the thing. It's like, even the small sample size, not small, but the last month sample size, they're the top. But then even full season, it's like, oh, this is top 5 and everything now. It's just look offense. At even with the bad games, the games I was going on rants about their whole offense, they're still like, they're back. The Chiefs are really good. They're probably
really
probably the favorites in the AFC in my brain. Them and the Colts. But that's a great one. I like that. I think the Chiefs offense is so much fun actually right now. And getting Rice back and the run game's going. Yeah, so that's a great one. But that Commanders defense, that's great thing to bring up. Is Jane Daniels out with the injury again, but it's that defense. You can just do whatever you want against them. I've watched what the Cowboys did. It's like, not only just they're slow in some regards, it's just like guys are botching, it's predictable. So that's more than anything, even with the injuries and stuff. That's really the biggest weakness of this team to me right now. So that's a really, really good one. Mine, I almost forgot it. I have the Saints beating the Bucs outright. Saints are at home. They're 4-point underdogs, which actually wasn't as big as I expected. Just this Bucs team, a lot of injuries, a lot of guys banged up. The Saints team isn't bad. They're not good. They're not even, I wouldn't even say average, but I do think they actually match up fairly well against this Bucs team. The Saints have shown to me they have a really good protection plan against the blitz. Spencer Rattler's got some cojones. He's willing to keep things, like, try some stuff. He really was against the Bears last week, even though he got caught a couple times, but actually the film was a lot more like, this is good film than I expected when I watched it. I think the Saints run game can be hit and miss. You can get Alvin Kamara a little bit in protection right now, but I think they have a good game plan at the very least. They picked up one blitz. I meant to tweet it. That was just like exceptional against the Bears, where they brought the safety late. It would be worthy of a breakdown, but they lost the game, so it's kind of hard to like highlight a game that you lost. And I think the Saints defense going against this Bucs offense, like, you're going to be able to score some points on them, but it's not an awful defense. Other than Kool-Aid McKinstry getting dunked on every week. Like, but that's the thing, is the Bucs are now out Mike Evans. Is Godwin playing? Is Ibuka playing? Like, are the receivers playing? Bucky Irving's probably still out. The run game is not a good run game right now. So, okay, you kind of take that, even if it's, below average run game. It's up to Baker creating some explosive plays. Can they do that? Maybe, but maybe they have a letdown game coming off a Monday night game on the road. Now going to have another road game, division game against the Saints. Yeah, I'm going with the Saints here. Saints with a straight up win against the Bucs. I'm not like totally out on the Bucs or anything, but maybe just catching them in a roll right now. Yeah,
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Thanks.
The rat man, man, he's got a little something to him.
He does.
I don't like. Honestly, depending on where you land in the next year's draft and how you feel about the quarterback class, I don't think giving him another year is the worst idea in the world. If you're looking at this, you're saying, I'm not in love with any of like the non-Mendoza options. I don't even think that's a crazy take to have at this point.
No, when I looked at the class too right now, I'm doing a big board next week. Mendoza is still QB1. Other guys are getting up there. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. Probably be the other two. Lenore Sellers is kind of the interesting project player, but he might even go back to school. He's young for his grade. But like I look at Ty Simpson, even Mendoza, and even Dante Moore, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'd rather have Rattler. Like, because I've already seen what Rattler is, and Rattler's got a lot of arm talent. I mean, if I'm going with Ty Simpson or Spencer Rattler, I've probably a higher grade on Rattler. At least at this point in time, Ty Simpson might do more, or Dante Moore. Like, I'd rather them shore up other aspects until they kind of prove it wrong, because this is less than ideal circumstances, and Rattler's performing, and I think performing well. And it's not just like, my big question was like, how much can you push the ball? And now he's pushing the ball. He can score in the red zone. He can perform on third down right now. He's had some good understanding against blitzes and pressure, and he's creating a lot. He's not taking sacks at a super high rate. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's like Rattler deserves, I think, an extended look. And I think they feel the same way. I haven't talked to anyone there, but I think they like him too, because they're giving him real stuff. Like, there's not a lot of training wheels for that offense for him. He's dropping back and chucking it and reading the whole field and doing a really good job of it. So I'm right there with you, with the Rat Man, Rat-a-tat, loud pipes. All right, but we're closing it out today. That was our Week 8 preview. Charles and I will be back Sunday after the late afternoon games, right before Sunday Night Football, reacting to Week 8. So come hang out. Check us out on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Love doing that. I am Nate Tice. You can find me at Nate_Tice. That is Charles McDonald. You can find him at 4Verts on social media. Subscribe to us. Follow us. Rate us 5 stars, pretty please, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, watch us on YouTube, on the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel. Rate us there. Give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Anyone that's checking us out here. Thanks to Stone, Austin Madison behind the scenes for making us look and sound good. Thank you to Chuck for joining me for another fun slop watch. Thank you all for listening. See you guys next time.